Now that we've learned about perimeter, we're going to do a review of area of rectangles and triangles. And again, this should be a complete review for you. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. Sometimes you've heard this called base times height as well. And on a rectangle, you just pick one side and call it your length, and one side and call it your width. And remember, when you are doing area, the thing that you have to keep in mind is that it's always going to be units as squared. Perimeter is just in units. Area is always units squared. The area of a triangle, the formula for that is 1/2 base times height. And the base, you just get to pick one side of the triangle to be the base, and it doesn't matter which one, so we're just going to use the bottom here and call it our base. And then the height is the distance from the base to a vertex, the perpendicular distance. So in these two triangles, I've indicated where the heights would be. Now let's use these in action. We found the perimeter of this shape in our last slide. Let's find the area of this polygon. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is write down the formula for the excuse me, the area of a rectangle, which is length times width. And then I'm just going to pick one of these sides and call it my length and one call my width. And it doesn't matter which. And then I'm going to plug in, I'm going to replace L with 20 and W with 25. So I've got area equals 20 times 25. I'm going to use my calculator. That gives me area is 500. And remember, we said that area is units squared. And in this case, it is inches. So it would be inches squared. And in this one, we are going to graph a triangle with vertices O, R, and S, and then find the area of the triangle. So let's go ahead and graph our 3 points. And you can do this on your paper and draw our triangle. And then we get to pick one of these sides to be the base of our triangle. So I'm going to pick one that's easy to find the distance on. So I'm going to select side RO as my base, and I'm going to count, and that is a length of 3. Now remember that the height of a triangle is the distance from the side that is the base up to the other vertice. So in this case, that would be this line going from S to the y-axis, and I'm going to count that. That's a length of 2. So my height is that purple line, and it is a length of 2. Now, my formula for area of a triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height, and so I'm going to substitute 3 for B and 2 for H, and I'm going to get that my area equals 3. Now, notice there are no units given here, so I'm going to use the word units squared. And the last thing that you need to be able to do is look at what is called a composite figure. That's a figure that's made up of 2 or more figures stuck together, and then find the area of that polygon, that composite polygon. Now we found the perimeter of this by adding up all the sides. To find the area, we have to break this shape into 2 smaller shapes. So I'm going to draw a line here, and then I'm going to have 2 rectangles, a large one and a small one. My large rectangle, I'm going to choose the top as my length and the side as my width. And notice if I add together that 20 and that 22, that would give me the length of that large side. So that's going to be the length of my long rectangle. Then my small rectangle, I'm going to call 2 as my length and 7 as my width. To find the area of this polygon, I'm going to find the area of both of those smaller rectangles and add them together. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the length and width of my large rectangle, multiply them, and then I'm going to add that to the length and width of my smaller rectangle, and I get 234. Now remember, area is always units squared, and my units in this case is feet, so this would be feet squared. All right, that was our pretty quick review, so I think you're ready for your practice.